What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. The sponsor of today's video is the coldest water bottle. If you want to keep your water cold for 24 hours plus and all sorts of sizes and shapes, then check out the coldest water bottle. Link in the description below. Get 10% off your order. They're also running some Black Friday sales, so check out that in the link in the description below. So let's get to today's video. So it's been quite some time since I've done an official top 10 best collectibles in my collection. So this includes everything from props to busts to any scaled statue. But I actually remade this video, but then I decided to change it. I needed to remove a piece and add a piece. You know, one thing I find, statues that are my favorite are the ones I look at the most. Ones that impress me the most. And there's a lot of things that go into impressing me. And sometimes condition also affects how good a statue is. If there is damage, it lessens how much I like that statue. Exhibit A, that is damaged, and therefore it is not a top 10 statue in my opinion. If it was mint, then it would be, but it is damaged. So therefore I just simply cannot include that in the top 10 of my collection. And other statues have some notable issues, and I'll mention those as honorable mentions and reasons they did not make top 10. You know, and the reason this is lower on my top 10, Big Chat being number 10, is because of the damage, frankly. Because mine did have a broken tail, and that's really the only main damaged issue. It was really hard to peg it in, but the tail is damaged. But fortunately, I never actually see the damage on normal viewing. Like when you see it like this, you will never know it's damaged. But nevertheless, this is one of the best 1/3 scale statues I own. Absolutely phenomenal paint app presence. I love the back wall. It adds so much to the piece. And I mean, just freaking look at that. Are you freaking kidding me? This thing is truly impressive. 35 inches tall. Absolutely phenomenal. My favorite alien statue and number 10 for my top 10 favorite statues. Let's get to number 9, which is Prime 1 Sauron. In my opinion, this is the best 1/4 scale statue ever created, hands down. It has the best base, the most presence, one of the coolest looking designs ever made. I mean, come on, it's Sauron. But this piece is truly impressive. You know, like that base is so killer with all those skulls and armor, the lava, the underbase. Awesome pose, real chainmail, fabric cape that's all super weathered. Awesome, you know, concept. This piece is truly a grail, and number 9 on my top 10 favorite statues ever made. Alrighty, now number 8 on my list is going to be Blue Box Pennywise bust. This piece, you know, it's a custom silicone bust. Normally, it does not have that. It is no base, and if it had no base, I would not put it at top 10. However, I customized mine by adding the Pennywise half-scale base from Prime 1 Studios, throwing the bust, throwing that IT 3D printed logo, the balloon, the metal COA, which really exalted this piece to one of my absolute favorites. You know, definitely one of my favorite busts, probably one of my favorite portraits on any bust. You know, they just absolutely knocked it out of the park. I love the hand-punched hair. I think the fabric could be a little bit better. It's quite thin, and it's, you know, like hollow body, almost like plastic, honestly. And then, of course, I love the Prime 1 Pennywise base. That thing's a masterpiece by itself, and the best part of that Prime 1 half scale, honestly. But when you combine the two, it really forms just an absolutely, you know, phenomenal Pennywise bust. It's super grail. You know, he's my favorite horror character, one of my favorite characters in general. So, of course, it will always be a top 10 for me. So, Blue Box Hyper Pennywise coming in at number 8. Now, I know I did a comparison video between Infinity Studios and Wonder Woman bust about, you know, which one I think is better. And I did announce in that video that Infinity Studios Wonder Woman bust is better. However, after much, you know, like really looking at these busts, you know, I said it in the video, but maybe that was just to the hype of me getting that bust at the time. But I think after looking at both busts quite extensively, I have come to the conclusion I think Queen is better for a lot of reasons. I think Infinity has 3 big advantages. The skin tone and texture is better. The face likeness is a tad better, and it's half torso, you know, like full silicone back, full upper torso armor. However, with that being said, Queen has substantially better armor. Like the actual texture of this armor, the color of the red, the black lines, the gold color, the gold hair, the gold tiara, the hair styling right out of the box. Even like this is better on Queen. I like the color of the wrist gauntlets better on this. The base is 100 times better. The fact that it includes a shield, you know, and like the likeness on this is 90%, Infinity's 95%. But the armor on this, the base on this, the inclusion of a shield is far better than, you know, what Infinity's including. I mean, I think in general, this is just a better bust. And in fact, I would actually sell Infinity before this. Having looked at this extensively while playing God of War and watching TV, it honestly is one of my favorite pieces in my collection. I'm like, yeah, I can't sell that. No way. I'd sell Infinity before this. But yeah, this comes in at number 7. You know, it's one of my favorite Queen busts. Queen, Wonder Woman, this thing is one of their best busts to date. You know, it's only topped by number 6, which is actually Queen Arnold. And Arnold only tops her because he's battle damaged. You know, I would say I probably have an equal love for Arnold and Gal Gadot in terms of character coolness and how much I love each of them. But Arnold battle damage makes him more impressive. You know, all this, all the bolt holes in the neck, and that is what makes this bust so impressive. Queen did a phenomenal job on all the, you know, I mean, heck, even this jacket, bolt holes right there. You know, the only reason like this bust wouldn't be the best bust ever is due to, you know, it doesn't have enough, like, there's no shoulders. It doesn't have enough body. It's not big enough. I mean, it's a big bust. It's 30 inches tall, but it's not wide enough. And I would love an arm, like a battle damaged arm. Make this Infinity Studios half torso size wise, and that would exalt this, you know, much better. But as is, it is, you know, one of my best busts. It's Queen Studios' best bust to date. That and Wonder Woman and Alita, frankly. You know, those are their 3 best busts, and then I'd probably do it at Thanos after that. But yeah, Arnold is number 6. Now we come down to the top 5, the big 5 of the collection. Wait, are we at 5? Let me think. Alrighty, yeah, we're on top 5 now. So number 5 is going to be King Ghidorah by Spiral Studios. You know, I'm a huge fan of dragons. I'm a huge fan of Godzilla vs. Kong. That movie for me is like 10 out of 10 good. And I'm a big fan of giant statues, you know, because they have more presence. And when the details matched with that presence, it makes it even more impressive. And I think Spiral did a phenomenal job on this piece. The fact they're able to get this body to hold 2 gigantic wings, you know, I mean, this is nearly like 4 feet wide, like over 3 feet plus tall. This thing is massive, an incredible presence and incredibly cool. You know, when King Ghidorah first came out and he, you know, really expanded his wings like this, it was such an epic moment. And having a full-blown gigantic statue of this is just super cool. The base is awesome. Love it all around. The light up is amazing. I'd say the biggest downside, honestly, is just the seam lines. But there's not much you can do about that. There has to be seam lines. It's just impossible to ship such a statue without it. But I think in general, when you look at the statue like this, you can't really see any seam lines. Only at certain angles can you see it. But it's not like the seam lines are so bad that they're just an annoyance. Like, yeah, you can't even enjoy the statue at that point. When you sit down and you look at it like that, you're just blown away on how epic and cool this piece is. So this is number 5. Alrighty, number 4 is going to be Infinity Studios Bruce Lee bust. This is the only Infinity Studios bust that actually did make the list. Spoiler alert. He is the best bust ever created, in my opinion, for multiple reasons, actually. One, he's the most realistic. When you look at this, you think it's a real person. They did a phenomenal job on the skin texture, the skin color, the silicone, you know, is the highest of quality. The base perfectly represents Bruce Lee. You know, it's very classy and cool at the same time. Having the dragon, the wood, his signature, very classy. Very iconic pose. I love the nunchucks, which are also very high quality, like real wooden nunchucks. His actual arms just look amazing. Like you can see the vein work underneath the silicone, every little, like even like his wrist bones, his fingers, absolutely crazy good. And his portrait is just perfect. His hair is like perfect. It doesn't have that stupid fizzing like, you know, some of my other busts do. The eyes are perfect. The expression is very Bruce Lee-like. You know, they absolutely nailed it on this bust. And the vibrant yellow really also brings out, you know, this piece just standing out amongst, you know, like a collection. So it does make this the most impressive bust I own. Honestly, I think it is the best bust ever created. Now, there is potential for like Infinity Studios' Harley bust to top this. But as of right now, I think Bruce Lee is the most impressive bust all around. Alrighty, and number 3 on the list is going to be Cinema Cat Predator, still one of my absolute favorite statues in my collection. I'm a huge fan of this piece. Ever since I got first in collecting, this was seen as the holy grail of statues. And heck, this piece is 10 years old and it still holds up better than 99.9% of all statues being released today. It is truly a grail of grails, absolutely phenomenal in every possible way. Conceptually, you know, there's a reason Prime 1 copied this piece, because they couldn't top it conceptually wise. It's a perfect. You know, the only thing they did was add to it, really. You know, adding a few things to the base, adding swap outs, and making it bigger. Now, I'm hoping Prime 1 can top this. I think it has a lot of potential to top it. I'll see in person in a few months, but as of right now, you know, this bad boy's number 3 on my top 10 favorite. Number 2 holds strong at Prime 1 Shockwave. This piece still today is one of the most impressive statues I've ever seen. It has a gigantic base, incredibly ginormous transformer with just incredible intricacies and detail, like a 2-foot-long gun, giant drillers. You know, it just screams like, holy shiz, that is amazing. When people come into this room, this is the piece they're drawn to. Even over Sauron and King Ghidorah, you know, this one still impresses people the most. Now, there's a good reason for that. Prime 1 just absolutely knocked it out of the park. So, to me, this is still one of my absolute favorite statues and holds strong at number 2 best statue in my collection. Now, before we get to the number 1 statue in the collection, which I'm sure a lot of you probably have guessed, let's do some honorable mentions. And we're going to talk about why they did not make it. Alita bust. This is definitely one of my absolute favorite busts in the collection. Has incredible eyes, awesome silicone, great hair, awesome base and concept. I would say, you know, things I would improve. 1, the hair is too long. It needs a haircut. Prime 1 just made it too long. That does bug me. I have considered getting it cut. You know, and I do like the fact it includes the one arm with the sword, but I wouldn't mind another arm just because she didn't have a decapitated arm. You know, at the end of the day, I still would prefer 2 arms versus 1 arm. The base is great, but it also is a little plasticky. Like that Alita logo is plastic, and it's noticeably plastic. Otherwise, you know, this is one of the best busts ever made. 2 honorable mentions in here. Queen Thanos lacks really 2 things. 1, it should be bigger and include more of him. 2, the skin tone on the purple, wrong color. Should have been lighter purple like the original prototype. I still like this better than their bigger Thanos, because that one's just polystone and it's inaccurate with a gauntlet. I don't like inaccuracies. I want it to be as accurate as possible to the movie. But this piece is definitely one of my favorite busts. It just, you know, definitely could be better. Another one is Infinity Joker bust. Definitely one of my favorite busts in my collection, but I do have to knock it down for 3 reasons. 1, it lacks hair right along here. It needs more hand-punched hair. 2, the likeness isn't as good as some of the other Infinity busts. You know, you definitely see Heath Ledger. It's definitely very good, but it's only about 85% likeness in my opinion, where some of their other ones are 90 to 95%, and Bruce Lee being basically 99%. 3rd reason, arm behind the back holding the mask. You're never going to see that mask unless you rotate him around or look at a side angle. I don't like having to look behind a statue to see something, because for the most part, statues are always facing this way. So in this angle, he looks like Alita, where he's a 1-armed bust. and I would prefer not that. So those are the 3 reasons Joker is not top 10 in my opinion. And the last honorable mention is going to be PCS Goro. You know, this is one of my favorite statues without a doubt. You know, definitely like top 15 if we were doing the 15 number. You know, great base, awesome presence, great all-around detail. I think one thing that knocks it back is just the material used, like the polystone, feels and kind of looks cheaper than like other companies. I feel like PCS kind of uses cheaper polystone. Like it's very like hollow, and I wish they used translucent resin with glass eyes. And the base is extremely hollow as well, which is kind of annoying. But had they used translucent resin with glass eyes, this would probably be a top 3 best piece of my collection. But, you know, you can definitely tell it's not quite up to par as some of my ECC, but it still is like absolutely fun. It's not like it's garbage quality, but it's just not as good. But it is still one of my absolute favorites in my collection for many, many reasons. Alrighty, so now it's time to get to number 1, the best statue in my collection. And that is going to be Iron Studios 1/10 scale Dilophosaurus. I'm just kidding. No, the number 1 best piece of my collection actually is Prime 1 Wonder Woman on horse. It still to this day is my favorite piece of my collection. It has the most presence outside of the Endo life size, but just a phenomenal concept. You know, the horse like almost walking up a hill, amazingly cool looking base representing like World War I. A gigantic horse that looks awesome. I love the real hair on it. The eyes look awesome. Wonder Woman, absolutely gorgeous. And definitely could tell that Prime 1 upped the level of paint and detail and sculpt versus their Ultimate. You know, her actual armor, you can see, you know, they did a really good job on the texture and the paint app. I really love the color of the armor. Her face is gorgeous. Her hair is incredible. The God Killer, you know, real metal. Incredible presence, incredible all around, and still to this day, my favorite statue in my collection. Now, I do think there is some contenders that can maybe knock her down. And I would put it at 3 statues. Prime 1 Predator, Infinity Harley Quinn bust, and Jetwing Optimus Prime. I think those 3 are contenders for, you know, like to potentially knock this down or at least be a top 3 best statue in my collection, because for the longest time, the top 3 has been Wonder Woman horse, Cinema Cat Predator, and Shockwave. But let's see if any of those can top that. But for right now, that's my top 10 favorite statues in my collection. Let me know what you guys think. And if you're unaware, I did post on the community tab, but Prime 1 is doing a buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one 50% off on their website. So if any of you are looking to buy any statues on Sideshow, please use the affiliate link below as it does help the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.